Forrest Blanton's. Wow. That's different. I really like that. Peychauds or Pechaud's or Pechaud.
Yeah, now I'm gorgeous. Although probably fuzzier was better.
Okay. So this is not what I expected. Hey, how's it going? It is Thursday and time to get back into the Bourbcast, and it is no longer Sober October, so we can have a little bit of fun again, cut loose, and have a pour that is worthy of the Bourbcast. They're all worthy. We got to try some good stuff over the last month. Yeah. So, I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but 2 weekends ago, I tried really, really hard to break my foot. And I'm bringing sexy back, guys. I'm bringing sexy back, and now I'm not going to be able to get it off. They gave me this. Okay, I'm just going to leave it. It's a shoe. It's a medical, icky, ugly shoe, and it's Velcro. I was going to get it off and show it to you because I'm bringing sexy back, but too much work. Too much work to get it off of my foot. So anyway, let's just go ahead and drink, shall we? Let's get this poured. This is Pursuit United. The makers of this have been doing single barrels for a while, number of years. They've got 55 of them out right now, and they've been sourcing those from all over the United States. Well, this is their first attempt at a blend. Now, I wasn't able to get a whole lot of information about these folks. I know that they started off by meeting each other when they did a podcast called the Bourbon Pursuit. I believe that podcast is still ongoing. But you get around and you start doing these podcasts and you start talking to people, and all of a sudden you get a flair for this stuff. I mean, I didn't know where this was going, and now here I am doing Bourbcasts every week, which is fun. I'm totally enjoying it. I hope you are too. But I'm finding out, Kevin's watching. Hey, Kevin. But I'm finding out that, some people's passion goes far beyond mine. And these guys, after being around for, however many years they were doing these bourbon podcasts, they decided to source a bourbon of their own. So they started doing single barrels all over the United States. This is their first attempt at a blend, and it's brand new to the state of Ohio. It's been around, I think, since 2021. Or late 2020, but I think it was 2021. And it just recently in September came to the state of Ohio. So that's kind of nice. The guys who are running are Ryan Cecil and Kenny Coleman. Their goal is to cater to the whiskey enthusiast while adapting to a new market by selecting the best barrels and bottling uncut and unfiltered. Now, that's the ones that they're sourcing throughout the U.S. That's not this one, although this is close to that. I think it's uncut and unfiltered as well. Again, they've done 55 of the single barrels so far, but this is a blended, trying to get it into the mainstream. They have this one, and they did come out with a blended rye as well. This one is 108 proof. It's sourced from several different distilleries, so I do not know the mash bill on it. No idea whatsoever. I couldn't find it anywhere, but it is 3 different distilleries: Bardstown Bourbon Company, the Finger Lakes Distilling in upstate New York, and an undisclosed distillery in Tennessee. And this is what they say everywhere, because we were talking about this last night. I went up to the Maumee Valley Whiskey Society meeting, and we were talking about that I was going to taste this one today. And, they were saying an undisclosed Tennessee distillery. And I'm like, that's Dickel. It's got to be Dickel. They do all their sourcing. They'll probably do it before the Lincoln County process, blah, blah, blah. The website, the bottle, everything says not Dickel. So, could be anybody. Don't exactly know who. There could be some distilleries down there that like MGP, well, MGP started to put out their own stuff, but it could be like one of those places where they just distill and sell without making their own products. I don't know. But Tennessee, that could be Jack Daniels, that could be Uncle Nearest. Again, it's not Dickel, but who knows. Let's see. So this doesn't have an age statement on it, so we know it's been aged at least 4 years. Anything below 4 years, even sourced, it has to have an age statement on it, and this one does not. If it's straight, it has to be aged at least 2 years to have no age statement, at least 4, so we know that. scoring very well among different whiskey reviewers. And that is about the extent of my knowledge of this bottle. I don't know anything else about it other than I'm ready to try it. It's 108 proof, which is a little bit different than the 80 proof and 81, no, most of them were 80 proof, that I had during Sober October. That was not as successful as I wanted it to be. I did okay. I wanted to do better. I think I have another opportunity in February. Isn't that another sober month? So I'll do it in February. I'll just try to do a little bit better. I did okay. I'm proud of myself, but I could have been a little prouder. All right. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Well, right away, there's caramel on that nose. I mean, it's got a lot of those traditional scents. It does not. It's not giving me a young profile. It's not yelling, "I'm young," which is nice because I generally don't like to drink whiskeys that yell at me. This one, 4 years is still kind of young, but it's not betraying that on the nose. Yeah, caramel and cinnamon are what's really leaping out at me here. There's a really nice oak note. It's not hidden, it's there. It's not subdued, it's there. And then, of course, some vanilla, a little citrus. But caramel and cinnamon are the things that are coming out at me the most. It's got a really nice nose. It's not timid at all. I would say it's a little bit complex for the nose, which is nice. You know, you get a whiff of it and you think this, and then the next time you think this, and then the next time you think this. Little white pepper. If you do any Asian cooking, white pepper is big in Asian cooking. I do a little Asian cooking. All right, let's go. All right, that's got a very slow bloom, very gentle. Now, for new bourbon drinkers, they're probably going to take a sip of it and go, "Yeah, it's 108 proof." But the bloom is nice and slow. Again, the bloom, for those of you just joining us for the first time, the bloom is that ethanol burn. Normally starts in the center of your tongue and moves out, but sometimes, like this, it can start in the center and move back. Stay wide and move back, and that's what this one did. They're all different, and that's kind of what's fun about it. Without taking another sip, without giving it a fair tasting after the ethanol burn, I'm getting a sense on the finish of salt. Like a sea salt. It's very sedate, but I'm getting it. All right, so I'm going to head over here to the book, see if I'm missing anything. I'm not. All right, good. Okay. Now let's, this one will be one for tasting. The last one was to get my palate ready. This one is to taste. For me, this is nice, by the way. This is a nice pour. I like this one. It's got what's the best way I want to put this? It's got depth. Okay, so you can say that there are bourbons that are light, right? Sometimes they tend to be sweeter. Sometimes they tend to be more toasty, right? Toasted cereal with the rye heavy. Tim is watching. Hey, Tim. How are you, man? Welcome to the show. We're just getting underway. I just had my second sip of the Pursuit United. And the nose gave me a lot of caramel and some cinnamon and some of the other traditional notes, but caramel and cinnamon really jumped out. I'm getting into the flavor profile now. It's 108 proof, and I'm trying to say that there are whiskeys that don't have much complexity that seem kind of lighter. This one has a darkness to it, and I don't mean like Dark Night of the Soul or anything like that. I'm talking about it's got depth. It's got it's more dimensional than other pours of its type, and I'm still getting salt on the finish. So we'll go back to it here. Michael's watching, Aaron's watching. Hey guys, welcome. This is a new pour for me, and it's a new one really for the state of Ohio. Just got released here in September. It's still making the tour, releasing itself around the state and the country. Yeah, there's like a... The caramel is definitely there. The cinnamon is definitely there on the palate, for sure. Only it's not a sweet caramel. It's a darker caramel. Not quite a toffee. It's still caramel. I'm not getting molasses or necessarily. No, it's caramel. It's a darker caramel, which potentially would have a little bit of molasses in it. I don't know. I don't make caramel. so anyway, definitely caramel on the nose. Now caramel on the palate as well. I'm getting. Like a burnt orange rind. Again, it's a darker side of some of the flavors you might be used to. If it's not honey, it's honeycomb, right? If it's not caramel, it's a darker caramel. If it's if you've ever expressed orange, what's it called? Zest. Through a flame when you're doing an old fashioned or something like that, it's a difference in that expressed orange and not run through a flame. It's just that different. And I'm not saying it tastes burnt. It doesn't taste burnt. It's just it's got a darker, more deep, more resonant, more complex feeling. Mouth feels very nice. I could recommend this easily. This is a very nice pour. It's not for everybody. If you like a sweeter bourbon, this is not what I would call a sweeter bourbon. Definitely goes down the lines of those darker caramels. All right, so there's the neat. Stick around. We're going to show you what we're doing next week, and it's a very, very special bottle. And I don't expect anybody else to run out and get it, because you may not be able to. But we're going to taste it next week, because I just picked it up last night. And I did have a dram of a bottle that was already open. Talk about a lot going on. We'll talk about that in a minute. Right now, let's do a little water. I think that every time we do this, we ought to run it through the gauntlet. Start it off neat. How's that mouth feel? It is the 108 proof. To me, doesn't drink quite like 108 proof. It is not so far into silkiness that I would call it that, but because it's unfiltered, which I really like, it does have a little bit of butteriness. Again, I would not say that that it's overly buttery. It's just right. It's not. Again, that's part of its complexity because it's not just this thin. To me, it doesn't burn, and the with 108 proof, the bloom, as I call it, is very slow. And, I mean, you're holding it in your mouth for 10, 12 seconds. It's taking its time, letting you know it's there. Now I've got water in it. This is going to bring down that proof a little bit. It's going to reduce that bloom, that burn, just a little bit. But it may open up the flavors, and it may make that mouthfeel just a little bit more buttery, more creamy, more silky. Let's find out. It did improve the mouthfeel just a little bit. Definitely made it a little more silky. It did affect the flavor. It did bring that flavor, it spread out the flavor. It's not as concentrated. It's now lighter. Remember how I said it was dark? Now it's a little bit lighter. Didn't have near the burn that it did. I can't imagine I dropped it down that far with only a milliliter of water, but it's possible. I mean, I probably got 10 milliliters in here. 8 maybe, and I just put in 1 milliliter of water and it changed a lot. It changed a lot in the mouthfeel is better, the flavors aren't. The flavors are definitely more present before I added water to it. It didn't sweeten it any. I am catching a little honey on there. Again, it's probably honeycomb and not honey. It's the first time I got that on water. So it is giving me some different flavors that I didn't have before, just not much. Still, those caramels and those cinnamons are just leaping out. That's definitely what I'm getting the most of out of this. I do like it. I'm looking at some of the notes. I hadn't read these before. I just copied and pasted. Some of them I'm getting honeycomb on the nose. I didn't get that on the nose. I did get some fruit, but not apricot. They're saying apricot, and I don't get that. Cinnamon, melted caramel, yes. Palate, they're saying orange marmalade. That's orange marmalade would be kind of sweet, I believe, and I don't see that. Peach, no. Kettle corn, no. Not that I would know. I don't like kettle corn. Toffee. I did say it's a dark caramel, but I did not think that it went so far as to be toffee. I did say that there's oak on it. I'm not getting light herbal. Finish, they say sweet dark fruits, and I can agree with that. Chocolate malt balls, no. Light oak, yes. Lingering orange aftertaste. They say marmalade. I say not marmalade. But yes, there is a little bit of that on the back. But again, the thing that they're missing, and I'm not, is salt. I don't have the salt as much on water as I had it before. But there's definitely, when it's neat, there's definitely a salty overtone, which I actually really like. I really like it. But it's not there now. Okay, last but not least, we'll give it the ice test. Let's actually pour it over ice. This is one of those glasses a friend of mine found outside a dumpster at a auction house. They were going to just throw them away, and my friend just cannot stand to see something that's perfect be thrown away. So he rescued these. He had, boxes and boxes of glassware, and there were 3 of these. So I said, okay, I'll take those. That way if anything happens to this, I don't care. They were destined to the heap anyway. All right. Another gorgeous ice sphere. Here, let's make it more gorgeous. There. Isn't that beautiful? If you're a bartender, I don't recommend you do that. The booze will do that. You don't run ice around your hands if you're a bartender and you're going to serve it to somebody else. I'm just going to serve it to me so I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want to it. That's funny. That's good. I cracked myself up. Okay. Yeah, see, that takes care of it right there. Isn't it pretty? Oh my gosh. Makes me wish I had a camera operator and a zoom lens. I'd not count flood. All right. All right. Hey, Tom, how you doing? Michael Bowers with us from Coachella Valley in California. This is early for you, isn't it? It's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Are you still at work? Do you work from home? Am I getting you ready to drink while you're still at work, Michael? It's killing me. Right now, the film market is going on, the American film market in Santa Monica. 3 years ago this week, I was there. It was the last time before this week, that they were live. The last two have been, virtual. But I went to the last one in 2019, and I learned a lot about the business of independent film. And it was fun. And they're doing it again this week, and I'm not there. And that's okay. That's okay. I learned a lot, and I really haven't been involved in making film since then. So when I get back involved again, maybe I'll go again. I'll take a project and see if I can get it sold. So it was fun. The last one I didn't take a film out there, but I had one. And then we got it out there, and I met a bunch of people, and I asked a bunch of questions. And I find that at a film market like that, when you have people, coming at you all day long with stuff, having somebody sit down and ask questions, they really like that. They can just sit back and relax and cross their legs and, well, let me tell you. And you learn so much, and that's what I went out there to do, and it was so much fun. But it's going on right now, so filmmakers that are out there, have fun, learn a lot, and bring back your knowledge, and maybe some dollars for your films. Okay. This ought to be plenty cold. It's been sitting here for a while I've bloviated. I saw this video today. It said, "This is the extent of my maturity." And it showed, a cow creamer that you pour it and the cream comes out of the cow's mouth. And the guy was going, like, moo. And then he tilted it up to put the creamer in the coffee and went, just laughed my butt off it. It was so funny. That's the extent of my maturity. It's, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Oh, that's funny. I cracked myself up. Okay, that's different. Cold and just a little bit of water from the ice cube has taken all the burn, everything that you would like about a neat pour is gone. That being said, there's a flavor there that's new and different, and I want to be sure. So excuse me, won't you? No, I'm cigar tobacco. The sweetness of it, not that smell when somebody's burning a stogie. But if you just had a cigar and you started munching on the end of it, there's a sweetness to that tobacco. Not all are the same thing, but a lot of cigar tobaccos are very sweet if you haven't lit the cigar yet. And that's what I'm getting out of this. There's a sweetness to it, but it's a dark sweet, right? Tobacco is not a sugar sweet. It is a dark sweet. If you know the difference in what I'm talking about as far as, I guess, colloquial adjectives. You might have to look that up. All right, one more. I'm getting a little bit more of the orange. Still not marmalade, but I am still getting a little bit of the citrus, that orange coming out. A little bit of that pepper, a little bit of that cinnamon. The caramel is a little more sedate. Still getting some oak, so that's nice. I'm not going to tell you this is terrible over ice. A lot of times I really don't like ice on a drink, but this is not bad. It's different. The mouthfeel is much more thin after it's been cooled down, but it's actually decent. And that's not something I can say about bourbons on ice very often. It's pretty good. All right, so next week. All right, so let me preface this just a little bit. There's a group that I've gotten involved with. I have my own group that I run, the Northwest Ohio Bourbon Enthusiasts. If you want to check that out, do so. Answer the questions and agree to the terms, and we'll let you in. If you're in Northwest Ohio. If you're not in Northwest Ohio, it's not going to do you any good. We we have each other's back on trying to find out where bottles are, who's got what, all that kind of stuff. So if you're not here, sorry, Coachella, it probably won't do you any good. But the other one I've joined is the Maumee Valley Whiskey Society. And they have gone to the next degree of where my group is. My group is just, what are we having? You know, where did you find that? Things like that. The Maumee Valley Whiskey Society is doing barrel picks, and they're planning trips, and they're much more social and active than my group is. My group is very stay-at-home and type. Their group is get out and enjoy each other's company. So that's good. Well, what they have done is they have gotten a barrel pick from an Ohio distillery. It's Middle West Spirits. Middle West makes a lot of things that I like. They do a couple of gins that I like. There's a 4-peel gin and then a 4-peel gin that is in bourbon casks. They age it in bourbon casks. I've never tried their straight bourbon. As a matter of fact, just recently they changed their formula, their recipe on their bourbons at Middle West. But this one is a barrel pick from Maumee Valley Whiskey Society. This is their Pumpernickel Rye. As you can tell, it is very dark. If I'm going to, show you the difference, it is very, very dark. This is a 4-grain mash bill of... I better read it because I want to make sure I have it right. It's dark pumpernickel rye, soft red winter wheat, sweet yellow corn, and 2-row barley. 2-row, that's a planting procedure. That has nothing to do with what... Anyway, okay, it's romantic to say 2-row barley, whatever. I've seen dual-row corn. It's okay. Anyway... this was barreled July 10th of 2018, so it's a 4-year. Trying to see if there's a date when it came. I don't see another date. Anyway, this is their pick. I did get to try this last night, and it had some very unusual notes, so I'm going to be looking forward to doing this for you next week. The proof on this is up there. This is 125.96 proof. So we're coming out of Sober October and low proofs into Light Me Up November. We're going to do some of the higher proofs. And again, this is the Pumpernickel Rye, and I am looking forward to trying this. It's an Ohio distillery, and we haven't done very many of those yet. I think a couple, but this one is next week. So I encourage you to come back and check it out. This is going to be very tough to find. They were able to get, 60 or some bottles, and I think they've all been spoken for. Middle West Spirits does have other pumpernickel ryes, but they're not going to be barrel proof, and they're not going to be this particular barrel. It's not going to be a single barrel. It might be a single barrel. I don't know. You have to call them and find out. This I know. There's not going to be much else that's barrel proof. It's going to be proofed down somewhat. So, like I said, I'm going to try this next week, and we'll see what we think of it. I had a little tiny pour last night, and they wanted to give me another one. I'm like, no, I got to drive. So just a little taste is all I wanted, and a little taste is what I got. And it has some robust flavors, and we'll get more into it next week. We'll put it through the gauntlet of the water and ice and everything else. So, I do want to thank you for coming along, and Aaron, I'm not sure what your sweat emoji is. That doesn't look. The man that doesn't like ice often, make sure he's got clear ice. I do. Mike is watching. We're just getting done, Michael. You're late. But yeah, I do love my my clear ice spheres. I just make them when I'm in the mood to, and then as soon as it's empty, I put more in there and do it again. It's fun. I enjoy doing it, and I do like the effect of it. And I will use this for the rest of the evening, if not freeze it again and use it tomorrow. So I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Goof. I got called a goof. That's it. 125 proof. Yeah, this is 125.96, so almost 126. Sorry, buddy, I haven't gotten to watch in a while. Busy with work. That's fine. Not all of us can be like Coachella Mike, who is watching at work, I'm assuming, because it's like, what is it? It just turned 5 o'clock where he is. So now it's okay to go home, Mike. Not you, Duke. Yo, you're already home. All right, man. Hey, so again, next week, Middle West Spirits, the Pumpernickel Straight Rye Whiskey, 126-ish proof. And I will see you then. I'm looking forward to it. And thank you for watching. I appreciate it.